At this time, I'd like to call our meeting of, I know the date, but I don't know the date, right? Is it the 14th? I got it blocked with my clip. Our meeting of November 14th, I'd like to call to order at 6:30. Can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Gonzalez. Here. Trustee Udris.
Here.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Present.
At this time, I'd like Pastor David Fettis to please come up from Family of Faith for our invocation.
Well, it's Thanksgiving season. The Bible says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let's pray together. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you that you are good, that you are loving, that you have showered so many good things on us. And as we begin this meeting tonight, we want to give thanks to you for the town in which we live, for the community that we can enjoy together, for the people in it, for those who are involved in leading it, for the trustees and mayor, for those who serve with the police, for those who are in various administrative positions, for our educators, for the parents, for all who are involved in our community. We thank you too for the nation that we're part of. We thank you for the freedoms and the stability that we can enjoy, that with recent elections, we as citizens can have a voice in who runs things, and we can have peaceful transitions of those who are taking power. We thank you for these great blessings, and we thank you too for the blessings of freedom to worship you as your Spirit leads us. And we pray, Lord, that we may value always these freedoms and use them rightly, that we can honor you, that we can rejoice in our community and love one another as you've loved us. Bless the affairs of the meeting tonight. Help the discussions to be guided by wisdom and by justice and good sense. We pray for everyone who participates. We thank you too, Lord, for young people that can be here to be honored for things they've achieved in athletics, for the fun times they could have together with their teammates and coaches. Help them, Lord, to have a lot of satisfaction in what could be accomplished and good memories and good friendships that continue to last. We thank you for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, I'd ask you all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. At this time, I'd like to do open to the public. Anything you'd like to say about our agenda tonight? Agenda items only. If you have something you'd like to say, please step forward. Thank you very much. We will then move on to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Gray. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez. Yes. Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I'd like clerk's report. Anything, Anisha?
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor Pop. Just a couple things. One, I wanted to give a special thank you for the early voting volunteers that came to help. Sid Dresbeck and Betty Dresbeck, Ms. Judy Pop, Glenda Foltz, John Moran, and Marie Schnepp. Also to Deputy Clerk Powell, who came out and helped as well. And there were a total of 545 early voters that came. Also, we have available here at the village now for pickup anyone who is interested in running for a candidate position. You can come to the village hall instead of going to the Will County Clerk's office to pick up your packet. Also, there is a free Thanksgiving dinner that is being held by New Hope Christian Community Church. That is on Thursday, Thanksgiving the 22nd, from 12 noon to 3:30 p.m. Limited seating is available, RSVP by November 20th, and you contact Deborah Jackson at 708-235-0995. Of course, they do also have local transportation will be provided. End of report.
Thank you very much, Tanisha. Okay, at this time, gee, I don't understand why all these athletes are here, but I'll catch on to it in a minute. Congratulations to all of you. I just want to say the Mavericks and the Railcats and our soccer team, we're very proud of you. For a small town like this, you guys really are successful. That's a tribute to the coaches, may I say that. And for all of the teams in the Mavericks to make the Super Bowl and to win 4 out of 5 of them is just incredible. And congratulations to the team that made it also. So at this time, I'm going to ask our lawyer, Larry, to read some proclamations.
Thank you, Mayor. The first proclamation is congratulating the Monee Railcats baseball team. Whereas the residents of Monee are fortunate to have individuals who donate their time, effort, and other resources to help guide our local youth. Whereas through the efforts of these volunteers and coaches, one of the best baseball teams have been formed with respect to their age division. Whereas the Monee Railcats baseball team is composed of dedicated coaches and parents who have instilled the characteristics of hard work, discipline, and dedication unto the players. Whereas these players have become recognized as a top-flight team with a spirit and determination and pride. Whereas our Monee Railcats played a tough squad from Romeoville in the 12 and under division Chicagoland Sunday Baseball League. Whereas our Monee Railcats prevailed in the contest by a 10-1 margin. Whereas the coaching, the staff, the players, and parents have made the residents of the Village of Monee proud of their success, not only as athletes but as young men. Now therefore it be proclaimed that Mayor James Popp and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Monee, Will County, Illinois, hereby recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the 2018 Monee Railcats baseball team and wish everyone associated with the team continued success both on and off the field. Be it resolved that this proclamation be effective immediately upon its adoption. Dated this day, November 2018.
Before we go on to another one, could all the Railcats please come forward? And the coaches, please? Come on in the circle here, fellas, and kind of face the people, if you don't mind. Anybody that would like to? We're going to do it with each team. Motion?
A motion to approve.
Okay. Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the proclamation for the Railcats.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
I don't know if you want the mayor in your picture. I could right the camera. I was a coach guy many years ago. Hey, fellas. Thank you very much. Congratulations again. And they won the championship by a score of 16-2. Give me a break. I need the exercise, so don't worry about it, okay? Thank you, David, for getting us to vote on that. Yep. Okay, Larry.
The next one, Mayor Pop, is a proclamation congratulating the Monee Maverick lightweight football team. Whereas the children of the Village of Monee have been afforded the opportunity to participate in several activities, including the youth football team known as the Monee Mavericks. Whereas the Monee Mavericks consist of 4 dynamic teams, namely the Super Lightweight Monee Mavericks, the Monee Lightweight Mavericks, the Monee Mavericks Junior Varsity, and the Monee Mavericks Varsity team, along with a top-notch cheerleading team. Whereas, with the help and guidance of the dedicated coaching staff of the Monee Mavericks These teams participate in the Illinois Valley Youth Tackle Football League. Whereas all these children who participate in the Monee Mavericks program make the village residents proud and officials year in and year out. Whereas for the first time in the Mavericks history, all of our teams earned the right to play in the Ivy League Super Bowl. Whereas the Super Bowl games were played on October 20th, 2018 at our own Fireman's Park. Whereas the lightweights prevailed over the Bradley Lions by a score of 6-0. Whereas this contest was well attended by family, friends, and supporters. Whereas our athletes displayed character, skill, and sportsmanship not only during the Super Bowl but throughout the entire season. Whereas our heartfelt congratulations are extended to our athletes and cheerleaders. Whereas congratulations are all due to coaches and volunteers who, without their sacrifice and commitment, none of these accomplishments would be possible. Whereas, last but not least, congratulations are in order to the parents of these fine children for your continued guidance and support. Whereas, we'd like to extend our congratulations to the Bradley Lions on this very successful season. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by Mayor Pop and the Monee Board of Trustees, proudly congratulate all the members of the Monee Mavericks lightweight football team. The village officials also want to recognize the efforts and sacrifice of the coaching staff, parents, volunteers, and supporters. All of you make Monee proud. We wish you continued good luck in both your on and off field endeavors. We hope to see you here next year accepting another proclamation. Approved and adopted this day of November 2018.
I need a motion to accept this proclamation.
I'll make that motion.
Second? All those in favor? I'm just going to say it that way. Roll call, please.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue? Trustee Gray? Trustee Gonzalez? Trustee Horn?
At this time, I'd like the lightweight football team and all their coaches to please come forward.
Yeah, no. No, that's okay. That's okay. I got three more. Well, you know. Don't you want to put your pretty face on? I agree. It's a mountain. I got you a hat. You can blend right in.
I'd just like to announce that they won in a very tough game. Good job, 6-0. Wow. Good job. And they were undefeated for the whole season. Wow. Thank you, David.
Next one, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is a proclamation congratulating the Monee Maverick Junior Varsity football team. Very similar wording, but everyone deserves their own proclamation. Whereas the children of the village of Monee have been afforded the opportunity to participate in several activities, including the youth football team known as the Monee Mavericks. Whereas the Monee Mavericks consist of 4 dynamic teams, namely the Super Lightweight Monee Mavericks, the Monee Lightweight Mavericks, the Monee Mavericks Junior Varsity, and the Monee Mavericks Varsity, along with a top-notch cheerleading team. Whereas with the help and guidance of a dedicated staff of the Monee Mavericks, these teams participate in Illinois Valley Youth Tackle Football League. Whereas all the children who participate in this program make the village residents and officials proud year in and year out. Whereas for the first time in the Monee history, Maverick history, all of our teams earned the right to play in the Ivy League Super Bowl. Whereas the Super Bowl games were played on October 28th October 20th, 2018 at our own Fireman's Park. Whereas the Monee Maverick Junior Varsity team prevailed over the Infant Jesus of Prague Kingsmen by a score of 20-0. Once again, this contest was well attended by family, friends, and supporters. Whereas our athletes displayed character, skill, and sportsmanship, not only during the Super Bowl, but throughout the entire season. Whereas, once again, our heartfelt congratulations are extended to our athletes and cheerleaders. Whereas, congratulations again are due to coaches and volunteers who, without their sacrifice and commitment, none of these accomplishments would be possible. Whereas, last but not least, congratulations are in order to the parents of these fine children for your continued guidance and support. Whereas we would also like to extend our congratulations to the Infant Jesus of Prague Kingsmen on a successful season. Now therefore it be proclaimed by Mayor James Pop and the Monee Board of Trustees proudly congratulate all the members of the Monee Mavericks Junior Varsity team. The village officials again want to recognize the efforts and sacrifice of the coaching staff, parents, volunteers, and supporters. Once again, all of you make Monee very proud. We wish you continued good luck in both your on and off the field endeavors. Once again, we hope to see you right here next year with another proclamation approved on this day, November 2018.
Could I have a motion to approve this proclamation, please?
I'll make that motion.
Bill Gray, second. Any discussion? I want to ask that too, in case any of you want to make a comment to the,
Thank you for saying that. I would, and I want to say, where's the board? Where's the Maverick board?
the Maverick Board.
So, a proud mom of 3 past Mavericks, and I just want to thank you for everything that you do year in and year out.
Okay, Heidi. I'm glad I thought of it too, Heidi. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Now I'd like the JV to step forward, please. Where are they? Good. Well, I really don't think you're one of the 3 guys.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, though, huh?
It's a big football team.
And as he said before, 20-0 is a heck of a score, too. You shut them out, guys. Good job.
Thank you, Mayor. The next proclamation is to the Monee Maverick varsity football team. Whereas the children of the village of Monee have been afforded the opportunity to participate in several activities, including youth football known as the Monee Mavericks. Whereas the Monee Mavericks consist of 4 dynamic teams, namely the super lightweight Monee Mavericks, the Monee lightweight Mavericks, the Monee Mavericks Junior Varsity, and now the Monee Mavericks varsity team, along with a top-notch cheerleading team. Whereas with the help and guidance of a dedicated staff of the Monee Mavericks, these teams participate in the Illinois Valley Youth Tackle Football League. Whereas all of the children who participate in this program make the village residents and officials proud year in and year out. Whereas for the first time in the Monee Mavericks history, all of our teams earned the right to play in the Ivy League Super Bowl. Whereas the Super Bowl games were played on October 20th, 2018 at Fireman's Park. Whereas the Monee Mavericks varsity squad prevailed over the Infant Jesus of Prague Kingsmen by a score of 14-8. Whereas this contest was once again well attended by family, friends, and supporters. Whereas our athletes displayed character, skill, and sportsmanship not only during the Super Bowl, but throughout the entire season. Whereas our heartfelt congratulations are extended to our athletes and cheerleaders. And whereas congratulations are also due to the coaches and volunteers who, without their sacrifice and commitment, none of these accomplishments would be possible. Whereas, last but not least, congratulations are in order to the parents of these fine children for your continued guidance and support. Whereas, we would also like to extend our congratulations to the infant Jesus of the Prague Kingsmen on a very successful season. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor James Pop and the Monee Board of Trustees, proudly congratulate all the members of the Monee Mavericks varsity football team. The village officials once again also want to recognize the efforts and sacrifice of the coaching staff, parents, volunteers, and supporters. Once again, all of you make Monee very proud. We wish you continued good luck in both your on and off the field endeavors. Again, we want to see you here next year accepting another proclamation, approved and adopted this day, November 2018.
Could I have a motion to approve this proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez? Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
And before I call them up, I just want to apologize for saying 5 teams instead of 4. 3 of the 4 won. So, but varsity, come on up here, and coaches, please. Yeah, I just want to say that the varsity also went undefeated. That is incredible.
Thank you, Mayor. One more proclamation, different sport, but same result. A proclamation congratulating the Homeschool Resource Center Patriot soccer team. Whereas the residents of Monee and the surrounding communities are fortunate to have individuals who provide their time, effort, and other resources to help guide our local youth. Whereas through the efforts of these individuals and coaches, one of the best local soccer teams have been formed with respect to their age division. Whereas the Homeschool Resource Center Patriots is composed of 19 children from Monee and surrounding communities. Whereas dedicated coaches and parents have instilled the characteristics of hard work, discipline, and dedication onto the players. Whereas the Patriots are part of the Illinois Christian Conference League. Whereas these players have become recognized as a top-flight team with a spirit of determination and pride. And whereas the Patriots played a tough team from Division III in the Evansville, Indiana tournament, whereas the Patriots were victorious in winning the National Homeschool Division III Soccer Championship, whereas the team's coaching staff, players, and parents have made the residents of Monee and surrounding communities proud of their success, not only as athletes but as young individuals. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor James Pop and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Monee, Will County, Illinois, recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the 2000 HSRC Patriot soccer team and wish everyone associated with the team continued success both on and off the field. Be it further resolved that this proclamation be effective immediately upon its adoption. Approved and adopted this 14th day of November 2018.
Thank you so much, Larry. Could I have a motion to approve this proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Scott? Any discussion on this?
Yes, I do have just one
Sure,
point, since,
sure.
Mayor, if I may.
Go right ahead.
Since have some knowledge of this organization, Homeschool Resource Center, they in addition to soccer teams, they also have basketball teams, I think about 3 or 4, volleyball, and cross-country.
Very good.
So they have a full-orbed homeschool sports program that does very well in the sports that they have a stake in.
Thank you, Doug. Roll call, please.
Trustee Gray? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
At this time, I'd like to call up the soccer team, the Patriot soccer team, and their coaches. Please come forward. I may lose a pound or two with this. This is great. We spread out too far, or are we all?
Ready? 1, 2.
Okay, and congratulations again, you guys and gals. 3-0 is pretty good for soccer. Get 3 of them in that net. Good job.
Don't all leave now, this is where it gets good.
You are all welcome to stay if you wish, but feel also free. Don't be embarrassed if you want to go home, and we understand that, all right? Go ahead, David. I know what you're going to do. They're wearing you out, Larry. They're wearing you out on that. Holy cow. They did a great job. Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah. If he played with the Mavericks, did he play for the Mavericks, I wonder? Yes, he did. And he's doing all right, you know? Yep.
This is his contract.
Okay. Are all the department heads here? No.
Some of them I didn't get to.
Very good, no problem. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the administrator's report. David?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. This evening, I have several items to come before the Board. Item H1 on your agenda has to do with a motor fuel tax resolution for bulk salt purchase. The resolution authorizing the village to use motor fuel tax for the purchase of bulk salt for fiscal year 2019. The Illinois Department of Central Management Services bid price per ton is $66.52. This is $18.47 per ton higher than last year. The village is purchasing up to 600 ton for an amount of $39,912. Approval of the resolution authorizing the purchase of bulk road salt up to the amount of $39,912.00 is the requested action this evening.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Second.
Any discussion on it?
I have a question for Mr. Wallace. What was the, and hopefully you can answer this, what was the allocation on the budget, our fiscal year budget for this?
That is budgeted out of the motor fuel tax allocation, not out of the normal operating budget, and I believe it was at $65,000.
So we're well within that parameter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Trustee
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Resolution number 2018-4.
And at this time, before David goes to his next one, with that figure being in mind and how much it increased, I want you to understand that things don't go down in cost. We have raises for employees and we have raises for materials. So, David, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Next item on the agenda is item H2, and that is a board action request for the extension request for Mays Barbecue redevelopment agreement. And on July 12, 2017, the village board passed a resolution, or redevelopment agreement, with Mays Barbecue. The agreement called for the project to be substantially completed by December 31st, 2017. As the development was not completed by the date agreed upon, Village Attorney Grucheski issued a written default notice on April 16, 2018, under the terms of said redevelopment agreement. Since that time of default notice, Mays Barbecue has engaged professional guidance familiar with the restaurant industry, and through their attorney, Mr. David Dillner, is requesting an extension for the completion date to March 31st, 2019. The action requested this evening is a motion to extend the substantial completion date of Mays Barbecue project to March 31st, 2019, and allow the village attorney to make the appropriate changes to the redevelopment agreement.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second that.
Discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Thank you. I trust the attorney will make those changes to the redevelopment agreement, and that'll be on the next agenda for board approval. Next item on the agenda, item H3, is a Will County and Village of Monee intergovernmental agreement. Attached, please find an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Monee and the County of Will to provide communication system access, specifically the Will County-owned and operated 800 megahertz county-wide radio system, for the purpose of daily operable communications to the Village of Monee, more specifically Monee Emergency Management Agency. The action requested this evening is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the intergovernmental agreement with the County of Will.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Second. Discussion?
Mr. Wallace, can you tell me just a little bit of the day-to-day, what the access will grant us and EMA to or from?
Yes, the access grants us use of different radio frequencies that are used throughout the county. So if emergency assistance is needed in Monee, other emergency management agencies can come here. There's a common frequency that can be utilized to direct the emergency management personnel. Likewise, if Monee were to go to another area of the county requesting assistance, there would be a common frequency at that part of the county, and we would have that ability to use those radio frequencies through our portable radios, as the county has allowed us to program those in.
So it's not only EMA then, it's for use for fire and police as well?
Well, generally, fire and police have their own system that is set up, so this is primarily for EMA use. Fire already has mutual aid agreements and common radio frequencies, and police operate on total different radio system, but they also have that ability to interact with other agencies throughout the county.
And will this IGA incur, or the village incur any costs from this?
I believe there might be a $100 annual cost, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, nominal, very nominal.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
No other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, item H4, has to do with the building department vehicle purchase. I believe all the trustees are aware of this, but the building department is in need of replacing the 2004 Ford Taurus. And although this was a planned expenditure for fiscal year 2020, which would be the next budget year, an opportunity has presented itself where the building department can purchase two 2013 Chevrolet Impalas for the price of $10,000 each or less. These vehicles have been checked by our municipal automotive mechanic and found to be in above average condition, with a mileage in the range of 34,000 miles. These vehicles are being offered through Curry Motors Commercial Division. The need for two vehicles has been justified with increased building and inspection activity, plus having two code enforcement officers. They have the ability to be on duty at the same time. Although this is not a budgeted item, Finance Director Bulliner has verified there are sufficient funds available to the building department, and this will eliminate the need for a purchase next fiscal year. Additionally, permission is being sought to declare the 2004 Ford Taurus as surplus property and to use the same as trade, thus reducing the overall cost of the vehicles. The action requested this evening is a motion to authorize the purchase of two 2013 Chevrolet Impalas from Curry Motors in an amount not to exceed a total of $20,000. Additionally, if this needs to be a second motion, it's to authorize the attorney to draw an ordinance declaring the 2004 Ford Taurus as surplus property for disposal. I defer to the attorney.
Two separate motions.
Two separate motions. Any discussion on the purchase of the vehicles? Oh, I'm sorry, I need a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
And
Mayor.
a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the purchase of the vehicles? I will make a statement and say that we were unaware of this. We found out about it and we couldn't pass it up. It's just to get two vehicles in the condition they are for $10,000 each is a bonus for the village, so. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Okay. You want a motion on this? Yes, sir. Okay, now we're looking for a motion to authorize the attorney to draw an ordinance declaring the 204 Ford Taurus as surplus property for disposal. That's the existing building department vehicle.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, item H5, is the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. The Will County Governmental League is facilitating membership in the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network, which is the first agency of its kind in the U.S. Membership provides benefits to the village beyond those currently provided through the Will County Mutual Aid Partnership. In addition to being eligible for additional assistance and resources in the event of an emergency, costs associated with voluntary assistance, provided to others can become reimbursable through the network. Assistance is provided on a voluntary basis, and at no time is the village under any obligation to provide aid. No reimbursement of services is provided for the first 5 calendar days of assistance unless the aid and assistance is declared reimbursable by the state of Illinois. Neighboring municipalities that are currently members include Manhattan, Peatone, Beecher, Manteno, Crest Hill, Lockport, and New Lenox, to name a few. The term of the agreement is 1 year and automatically renews for an additional 1-year term. The current annual cost of membership is $100 and would be budgeted under the road and bridge account. A copy of the agreement is attached for your review, and the action requested this evening is a motion to authorize the attorney to draw an ordinance authorizing membership in the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. This agreement has been sent to the attorney for review, and he did not find any negative portions of it, and that's why it made it to the agenda this evening.
Could I please have a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Have we done this unofficially over the years with other villages, Crete and Peatone, or is this something that we've already, and is it something we've already done and we're just formalizing it?
I can speak very lightly on that subject based on personal knowledge here at the village. We have offered assistance in previous years. This really memorializes the assistance. Should it be deemed reimbursable by the state, you need to have this in place in order to capture that reimbursement by the state. So this is more of a formalized agreement.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item H6 on the agenda is the police lateral hire program. And basically, this is for informational purposes only. And the Village of Monee Fire and Police Commission is looking to establish a lateral hiring process. This type of process is a valuable tool in maintaining proper manpower allocation within the police department. There are many considerations to take into account from the perspective of the Fire and Police Commission as well as the Village Board. This matter is being brought up for discussion and consideration to authorize the attorney to take necessary steps in preparation of a lateral hiring process being acted upon at the next Village Board meeting, should the board feel comfortable with that. Therefore, the action requested this evening is a motion to direct the attorney to establish the necessary documents allowing for a lateral hiring process for the Village of Monee Police Department. If I might, under discussion. Sorry, Mayor.
Could I please have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Second? Discussion.
Mayor and Board of Trustees, just under discussion, the reason there isn't an ordinance here at this point is the concept, the idea of presenting this up is so that the board and the mayor become familiar with the concept of lateral hire. That basically is, if there's a vacancy in the police department, it would authorize the Fire and Police Commission to reach out beyond the existing police department to an already certified police officer, possibly from another department, maybe someone who has just left another department, and do their normal background check and screening and everything for the possibility of bringing an officer in to the existing police department at a step that would probably be above an entry-level position. Much of the discussion has to do with the use of the lateral hire list, when it would be used, when it wouldn't, things of that nature. But it's really to get the mayor and the board here familiar with that process, formulate some questions, and certainly I'm always open to help answer those, and Sergeant Lazzaroni can help answer those in the chief's absence, and I'm sure that the chief would be more than willing to answer those questions as well. And finally, I have asked and received from the Fire and Police Commission the updated rules and regulations from their commission, as the Board of Trustees needs to feel assured that and know that the proper hiring process will be in place, whether it's from a new hire list or a lateral hire list. So that concludes my presentation on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Could I, did we have a motion and a second on it? Yeah, David went into discussion. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say about it? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We're getting there. Item H7 is a request for a content management system. And the village is seeking to purchase a content management system for the scanning, storage, and of existing documents, and develop and storage of forms and in a digital format. Additionally, the system must provide for an effective and efficient manner by which stored information may be accessed. This has been a 5-month process, which included Information Technology Department, Finance Director, Economic Development Director, Superintendent of Public Works, Village Administrator, and also the Police Chief that has participated. So the companies were narrowed to a field of 3, and from there, a more thorough vetting process was begun. In the end, it came down to 2 companies, which was Konica Minolta and Proven IT, with the final selection being Proven IT. The vetting process consisted of an initial presentation and a follow-up presentation by each of the companies. Staff attended demonstrations by each of the companies at their locations, and finally, staff followed up with references provided by each of the companies. Discussion by staff and all information gathered resulted in the recommendation of Proven IT in the amount of $21,590. Additionally, you will see on the attached information sheet initial scanning services. These services provide the scanning of our documents and the necessary, which is necessary for the startup time to be short for the content management system. God bless you. Staff is recommending purchase of the Proven IT system and initial scanning services for a total amount not to exceed $25,000. This is a budgeted item, and therefore the action requested this evening is a motion to purchase the Laserfish system from Proven IT and initial scanning services for an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
I just have a question. I've looked into this and read a lot of information that Mr. Wallace and his team have put together, and it is an outstanding service. I wanted to ask, though, is there provision to extend the staff, the team we use to do the initial scanning? Can we do that?
Absolutely. The reason we are seeking initial scanning services is so that we can get the documents scanned professionally and properly categorized, and that puts forth an instant opportunity for the employees to start using the system. If we had to scan that in initially by ourselves, as we are short-staffed, and it would be quite some time before we could start to utilize the benefits of the system itself. Ultimately, scanning will take place by our personnel, and it will be approved internally and then put into the storage system for retrieval at later date.
Awesome. So the team that comes in, they'll train our employees?
That is correct. Training is included with all of
Awesome.
this.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a comment to make on this, too. We have boxes and boxes and boxes of ordinances going back many, many years downstairs. And obviously, if you ever listen to that guy, Mr. Fix-It, on the radio on Saturdays, it's not if a pump will fail, it's when. And we had some water damage, but thank God at the time we didn't lose any documents that I know of. This is going to streamline it and save many, many hours for all the department heads, in my mind, because you're going to be hitting a screen and pick up whatever subject you want. It'll get you to the ordinance and/or information you need without going through a bunch of paperwork. So, and then you can print your information if you wish or whatever. It's really a technology. It's great.
It's nice to see us joining the 21st century.
Yes, we're getting there.
So.
Step at a time.
So they're going to scan, I know there's, boxes downstairs, but there's also boxes in the upstairs of the park building. Records as well, going back to the 80s, 70s, 60s, and I don't know how far back. So are those going to be scanned eventually as well? Are we saying that?
I truly do not have an answer for that. We would restrict the scanning to relevant information. Certainly, our intent would be to start out with all of the ordinances because we are forever accessing those and having to look those up manually. But as we move forward, it would include any contracts, redevelopment agreements, and things. And as we get acclimated with the system, we are continuing to move forward and scan current day items, but it may allow us the opportunity to go back and scan those items which are relevant to our operations as we move forward. At some point, there is a cutoff line.
So here's the reason for my question, because legend has it that there is an ordinance that forbids a husband transporting his wife in a wheelbarrow down Main Street. I may be making that up, but I've heard that is an ordinance. And I'd like to get to the bottom of that.
Well, when we scan our 1,800-plus ordinances, we can search that by content.
I thought everyone needed to wake up a little bit.
I think Trustee Horn, as long as they don't go more than 25 miles an hour, they'll be fine.
That's kind of similar, Doug, if I may say, to a law they had in Indiana that allowed, this is probably less than 40 years ago, a horse had the right of way. So they had to look into that pretty careful too, but I understand what you're saying, Doug. Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Last item on the agenda under my report is item H8. And that has to do with the sale of real estate. Previously, the board agreed to sell village-owned real estate located on South Cleveland Avenue to Northern Builders. The size and description of the real estate has increased, and therefore a sales contract correctly describing the property is attached for the board's review and consideration. A copy of the sales contract is attached for the board's review as well. The sale price of the new property is $78,250.00 for land consisting of 1.95 acres. The action requested this evening is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the sales agreement in the amount of $78,250.00 to Northern Builders.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Gray.
Kind of forgot I was going to say here after that long, dragged-out report.
Oh, yeah.
One thing tonight, we discussed in the past the ponds situation, and we, as a committee, came up with a date to have a committee meeting, which will be the 20th, which is next Tuesday. Good with that? We are going to coincide with another meeting that's going to happen that night, so we can just have it all in one evening before Thanksgiving. So the pond discussion for a committee meeting will be next Tuesday at 6:45-ish, coinciding with another meeting that will be happening that night. End of report.
Thank you, Trustee Gray. We'll move on to Parks and Recs, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This Friday, there's a senior luncheon for those 55 and older, and the cost on that is $4. So it's a really good deal, but you have to register. You had to register a week before. Is that correct? More or less? Okay. And the next one is December 5th. And what's the hours of those, Diana? 12 to 2. Is there entertainment? Entertainment. So for $4, you get a meal and a show. That's really good price.
What's the date of it again, David?
So there's one this Friday,
Friday.
and the next one is, I believe it's a Wednesday, December 5th. So that's a great deal. I think I might start attending those. The annual tree lighting ceremony is coming up on December 1st in front of the Village Hall, where Santa will light the village tree at 5:30. We will then go across the street to the Monee Educational Center gym for music, cookies, crafts, and pictures with Santa. And the following week, this is not a Parks and Rec event, it is a MAC event, but it is in the holiday spirit. There will be Christmas caroling throughout the village. So if you know someone who could use a group of people standing outside their house Christmas caroling, please contact me, let me know, and we will have one of our teams of carolers go to their house. So I believe that starts at 6 that night. It starts at the park building. So that's on the 8th of December. Starting this Friday, you'll see blue bins in local businesses for our holiday giving program. You can donate toys, hats, gloves, and non-perishable foods. Items will be collected until December 15th. And children of Monee, and adults too, I'm sure, can start writing letters to Santa and drop them off here at the Village Hall over at the Parks Building until December 14th. Be sure to include your address, return address, so Santa can write you back. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Horn. We'll move on to Finance, Trustee Blue.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance Committee met yesterday to just review where we're at with our budget. We were halfway through our fiscal year on the 31st of October, and I had met as Finance Chair with Coach Darrell and Mr. Wallace to go through our budget and look at any areas where we may need to highlight to the trustees. I'm very happy to say we're in very, very good shape. Our expenses are below the revenue that we're generating, so that's always good. I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled, that 5 of the 6 trustees came out last night for the Finance Committee meeting. That certainly showed a lot of commitment to the village, and it certainly was a really great turnout. So we we have sent a copy of the budget to each trustee already. And then at the end of that meeting, that part of the meeting, we talked about the levy. The levy has to be decided and submitted by the 25th of December. We talked yesterday, it was really more information only. It wasn't a decision-making meeting. It was really to share with trustees and any of the public that attended really where we were at before we even look at the budget, because we have raises that are contracted that are going to be there whether we raise the levy or not. And we're also hit with a very large increase in our Laraway dispatch center of 26%, which wasn't expected. That gives us an extra 31,000 that we'll have to pay that wasn't budgeted for last year, because of course we didn't know about it. So it was good to share that. It was good to at least lay the foundation of our conversation. Our next meeting, hopefully our final meeting to discuss the levy, will be next Tuesday at 6 o'clock here in the village boardroom. And of course the public are all welcome. And we're hoping to make a decision on Tuesday as to what to recommend to the village board for their approval on the meeting on the 28th of November. On other news, I did meet with the chamber, the Monee Chamber of Commerce, to talk about our beautification committee. I'm really excited. I know it's a small thing, but I think it's awesome. We've got banners to put up on poles. We've got 16 banners that we have bought through our budgeted line item, and we're waiting for the accessories to come in, so you will be seeing those around the village. We can't put them in places we might necessarily want to, because we don't have jurisdiction over those roads, so obviously we can only put them where we own that piece of the highway. So that's really exciting. I did present that to the chamber and got a really warm response in that they might consider sponsoring the cost of the banners for our village in the spring-summer season. So they are going to present that to all of the members and businesses as well. And I believe that is my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Blue. Move on to economic development. Trustee Udis.
Okay, two things tonight. The first is that we are going to, as my committee, we're going to start reviewing the transient merchant ordinance. So looking to update that, bring it a little more current. So if anybody has any feelings or opinions or that they would like to share, please let me know. The second thing, I've had several people approach me and ask me if there's been any new developments or anything coming up with the Thornton's gas station proposal. And really at this point, the next planning, or the next P&Z meeting, they are going to be looking at changing the zoning for that corner from M1 to C1, which would in effect start the process of them being able to apply for that. So other than that, I have nothing else. End of report.
Thank you, Scott. We'll move on to building services. Trustee Racick.
Just have a couple things. In Country Meadows, Seamus started building his new home on Falcon Court. And lastly, the BL4 construction on Ridgeland is going along great. End of report.
Thank you, Anthony. Public safety, Heidi.
I've got a couple things tonight to share too. First of all, Chief provided me with reports from the police department for September and October, and just astounding number of services and calls from 2017 to 2018. Just know in 2 months from September and October, our police department had 1,689 calls in 2018, which is up, by my estimation, about 49% from last year. So our police department is very busy, and of that too, only 170 of them had reports written. So yes, they're getting called, but not always that it's always a bad thing, right? The building and subdivision checks, they do it a totally different way this year than last, so it's an inordinately amount lower than it was last year. There were a couple notable instances over the past couple weeks, so they're, being investigated now. And the other two things, we also are officially online with electronic citations program for e-tickets, which Sergeant Lazzaroni gave me the very brief schooling on it. So now that we have actually computers in all of our cars, tickets are being issued and, for lack of a better term, typewritten, so folks don't have to be able to read the police officer's writing, and they are also immediately submitted to the state for their, within the 3-day time period. So that cuts a lot of time off of the officers. And very importantly, Monee Police Department is participating in No Shave November again. Looks like you're clean shaven though.
Yep.
Except you. And they have participated, and they pay a $35 fee, and all the fine money that they get and any other donations will be sent to Ronald McDonald House as their selected charity for 2018. So thank you guys and gals for all doing that. How do the gals participate? Are they? Okay. Fabulous. And then I have something, it is considered public safety, but not, this is my real world, my 9-to-5 job. I participated today in a meeting at South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association for Tobacco 21. And as we were sitting there, it passed the Illinois Senate, and now it was vetoed already by Rauner once, and now it's in the veto session. But today, it was passed in the Senate and going to the House for a full vote. Again, it's called Tobacco 21. Has any of you ever heard of that in this room?
Oh, I've heard of it, of course I've heard of
Good. You know what Tobacco 21 is?
it. Gotta be 21 years old now to
Exactly. So,
puff on the weed.
And
By
it's.
that, I mean a cigarette.
That'll be next year, Jimmy.
And that was,
Sorry.
and so this is, it's pretty much targeted, and we know, as the mayors that were sitting with us, we also had 2 hospitals represented that were there, and it's been in many, many villages already in Illinois. It's passed in Chicago as a whole, and now we're trying to pass it all in the state of Illinois. So that being said, kids can't buy tobacco until they're 21. All kind of tobacco products, whether it's tobacco, cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and the jewels. They will not be able to purchase them until the age of 21. And as I found out today, the law enforcement likes it because it's all on the same ID. It's the same date for both alcohol and tobacco, which makes it a little easier, actually, even on the store owners as well. But it's huge, and before we hear from tobacco stores in town, the age limit, so from the 18 to 20-year-olds that are now not able to buy tobacco, it only represents 2% of the purchasers now in Illinois.
Cool.
But we know statistically that smokers or tobacco users have typically started before the age, in high school age and age of 18.
Sure.
So we know statistically, if we keep them from having access to even those 2 more years, that's going to cut down on our smokers and healthcare costs later on down in their lives. So kind of exciting, and I'm willing to talk to anybody about it after the meeting too, if they want to.
No
End of
executive
report.
session. Thank you, Heidi. We'll move on to the attorney's report.
I have no report.
I think you're wore out anyway, Larry.
Yeah, still lie down.
Any old business? New business?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, there's one thing I failed to mention earlier. The Monee Women's Club have their vendor fair on Saturday. It's their 4th annual vendor fair. There's also a blood drive, and we have my lovely assistant over there showing you the flyers. We also have Souls for Souls, so it's where you can bring old shoes in and they get refurbished and sold for the people who are actually working on them. And we have Operation Santa Drop to bring snacks and small items for military serving in Afghanistan and on a Navy ship in an undisclosed location. All of those things can be dropped off at the Monee Women's Vendor Fair on Saturday morning, 9 till 1, and it's at the Monee Elementary School.
It's great to see the trustees going across the tables, helping each other out. That's terrific. Anything else
Yes,
on new
I
business?
have a question. Going into the holiday season, and I don't know if Sergeant has any information, or Administrator or Mayor. Obviously, we have Amazon in town. Traffic control, especially with Original being shut down, has there been any discussion? Last year, we had Will County out there, because obviously, the amount, we couldn't handle it. Has that been brought up yet at all?
I know quite a bit about that, David, but
That'd be
Bill,
Bill.
David will
Thank you.
respond to that. I always do that to you.
I
right?
know you do.
At least you're not saying no too much.
No.
Buddy.
Not yet.
I know you will when you have to, Bill.
Trustee Gray, we have had conversations with Amazon on several different fronts, and we were informed that they have contracted with the county to handle the additional traffic. Additionally, Amazon indicated that there may not be quite as large a spike in the employee count for the holiday season, but nevertheless, there will be a spike in activity there.
Do we know when that's starting? Ballparking?
This week?
I think next week.
The only reason I'm asking this and bringing it up is obviously Original closed, the people that come in town already. You're already kind of seeing it, and not in the mornings, especially now, 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's starting to pick up a little bit. So I'm just asking these questions.
Yeah.
Even though Trustee Razak has the answers for us, we are just kind of curious of what's going on.
Yes, that's where we stand. They have contracted with the county, and I believe that we'll see them probably before Thanksgiving out there. And additionally, as a report on Ridgeland Avenue, the BR4 project has brought equipment in to start on Ridgeland Avenue, and the intent is to have that paved and open, at least with the binder course, within the next 30 to 40 days.
Okay, we'll move to open to the public, non-agenda items. Anybody have anything they'd like to say or mention? Please step forward. If not, there is no executive session tonight. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
A second? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue? Yes. Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razak?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate you being here, getting some input to what's going on in the village.